Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 84 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on my writing. So, yay for day 84. I really need to do these videos earlier, like before I go to work, because I ended up working later than I thought I was going to. It was okay, it worked out fine. It's just later than I want to be awake right now. And, but I am grateful for tonight. I did have a pretty good day actually, and I got some ideas when I was getting ready to come home. So ideas for my story, for my books, for my writing. So yay, I'm writing. I don't feel like I did a whole lot of writing. I did notice tonight when I was trying to write that I'm like, writing is kind of more tedious than daydreaming, because when I'm daydreaming or imagining it, I could just, it plays out in my head kind of like a movie, and it just goes and goes and goes and goes in the conversation, and I don't have to take the time to stop and type it up. I don't have to think about all the different words as to how to phrase it or to say it or to whatever it is that, typing. So turning it into what's in my head and typing it up into a story is a little more tedious. Not as much fun as I would like for it to be. Although the ideas were flowing tonight, not that they weren't, they were. But again, I was thinking about my book. I think I have it tentatively titled Running for My Life. I haven't entirely decided. But I did come up with some new names for my characters, so they're not the same as the TV series. Still not sure if I can get away with just changing names and not having to do anything about that. I'm gonna try it that way, but I'm gonna look into it before I actually publish it. And it's not like I've even gotten to any point where that's gonna be an issue. Anyway, so I'm still trying to figure out the first chapter, which in my head I thought should have ended a little bit sooner, and maybe there should be more detail with the with maybe a second chapter. But I mean, it's not very long. I didn't look to see how many pages it was. I ended up just rereading it because apparently I did something dumb, which is not really a surprise to me. But I remember doing all the chapter headings and thinking that what I thought was going to be 2 or 3 books turned into just one based on the chapter headings. And so I was going into that book, but it's like I remember making all of these changes to the first chapter. So I opened up the one, but it said 2019 instead of 2020, and I thought maybe I just forgot to change the date. And apparently I saved it and I went into the old one and did all the chapter headings and saved it, but it wasn't the new one that I had made all the changes to the chapter for. So I'm totally confused when I'm trying to read this. So then I had to go back through and find the other one that did say 2020 instead of 2019. So I had 2 of them that I was trying to save for today's date, so I had to get creative with my what I titled them to save them for my documents, because I try to save for each day that I do it. And apparently I just opened the wrong one, didn't pay attention the last time I did that. I don't even remember when I did that. December sometime, but that could have been 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Anyway, I like this exercise ball, but it's making me sore. I'm sorry. I want to stand up and move around, and I can't because I'm doing my video. I will stand up when I'm done. Anyway, so I ended up finding the right document to have the ideas. And then, of course, what I think that I remember that I wrote in my head is not what I wrote. So then when I'm thinking and I go to type it up, I'm like, oh, this doesn't really fit in my story, even though it sounds really cool in my head. So again, it's kind of fun to daydream and make it up in my head, but it always comes out different when I type it. And then, of course, I don't remember what I typed. So I go to read what I wrote. I was like, this isn't what I thought I wrote. It was still good. It was fine. So I didn't have to change as much stuff. And I did have a few places where I just left out random words again. I'm like, this word would make this sentence make more sense. Or maybe make it a complete sentence. I don't know, because I don't have my grammar check on, because it drives me crazy. That's what mentors and beta readers and editors are for. Because maybe one of these days I'll actually learn how to write a complete sentence, but who knows? I don't think I talk in complete sentences either. Don't really care. It is important for my writing. It is important for my writing. So I'm trying to learn how to do different things for my writing and how to improve my writing. And it's not exactly what I thought I was going to be working on tonight. And I did like I said, I made some more changes to it, and it's like, I need to be a little bit more consistent with which stories I'm working on so I can remember where I'm at, so I don't have to keep going back and rewriting it. Because after a while, it's like I get through the first chapter, and I was like, and I've done it so many times, I don't want to do it anymore. So I was kind of excited and looking forward to writing a whole bunch of new stuff tonight. And I did write a few paragraphs tonight that were new. I did make some changes, and I might make some more changes to the end of it because I think it could have a little bit more description and detail, maybe have its own separate chapter. But by the time I got that far, I was like, yeah, this is tedious, and I'm tired, and I'm done. I kind of give up a little bit too easily, so I need to get better, which is why I need to get up earlier so I have more time in the day to do this before I go to work, because then I don't feel exhausted because it's not the end of my day. And because then I'm like, I got all these creative juices flowing, and I sit down to type it all up, and I was like, and it's taking too long, and it's too tedious, and I'm too tired. But I like to write, and I know I've spent hours and days typing and writing up stories, so it's not that. It's just, I think it's just everything that's going on with me right now, and the fact that I'm waiting until it's right before bed. So I'm like, I just want to type up something as quickly as possible while I have the thoughts in my head. And I did put my new ideas for names into my phone because I was out driving around, and when I stopped, I didn't do it while I was driving. I stopped to get gas, and so when I stopped, I put the names into my phone so that I wouldn't forget them because I needed to. Maybe I wasn't stopped to get gas. I think I was stopped waiting for someone else. Anyway, I was stopped, parked, so I wasn't gonna, get in an accident playing on my phone. I don't do those kind of things. I try not to do those kind of things. It's not safe. But I am grateful for the names and the ideas and stuff that pop into my head. It makes me really happy. So I'm very excited. Very excited. Anyway, so that got me excited about my book and my story. And I like when I get excited about my writing because then it makes me want to write it. So I came home and I just wanted to work on my writing, which makes me very happy. But like I said, I ended up just rereading through most of the chapter, adding a couple of paragraphs, changing a few things, adding some missing words, just some basic stuff. Not a lot of time spent on it, but again, more ideas flowing. So it's kind of like, oh, I want to stay up and type. Oh, I want to go to sleep. Oh, it's so much work to get all the information from my head to typed up, but it doesn't come out the same as I think it in my head. And then I'm trying to figure out, is it good enough this way or can I change it? And yeah, it's that fun writing process. So, but I did rearrange a few paragraphs too, because I just didn't like how it just didn't make sense and took out a few things. So I think when I go back through and reread things, especially if I've left them alone for a while, I kind of pick up on stuff that I missed or things I realize that things don't make sense, because when I go back and reread after I've left it alone for a while, I don't remember what I wrote. So it's like reading someone else's work or someone else's story, which is kind of cool that I could do that. And then I get to actually fix it because I'll read it. I'm like, wait, this doesn't make sense. Why did I do this? Oh, this needs a word here. And not that I catch everything, and not that I'm like the perfect writer by any means. I'm not. But it allows me the opportunity to go back through and fix stuff. And I'm rambling and I'm prattling on really quickly, probably because I just really want to go to bed. But I also just had a really good day today, and I had another epiphany realization, kind of on a more on the side personal note, not really having anything to do with my writing. But I had an interaction with someone at work tonight, and it was someone that's just really frustrated, and they were really upset with me because I didn't do something that they thought I should do, and I was like, I don't know how to do this, so I can't do it. And they were yelling at me, and normally when people yell at me, I just kind of shut down. And I tried to defend myself, and that didn't seem to be working. So that I kind of thought some sarcastic things under my, I didn't say them under my breath, but I just kind of thought some sarcastic things that I chose not to say because it wasn't very nice. And I just decided, I'm like, I don't want to get into this argument. If they want to say whatever they want to say, whatever, I don't care. They can just, vent, whatever. So we just kept going with work. It was not that big of a deal. I was like, okay, I'm just going to whatever. And then there was that moment where I kind of had to remind myself that I'm like, okay, I'm doing the best that I can. This is my job. This is what I'm doing. I'm not perfect. Not a mind reader. Don't know how I'm supposed to do this. whatever. And then the person actually apologized and started explaining why they were super frustrated and angry and stuff, and it had to do with the company and it didn't have anything to do with me. And I was able to just say, I understand your frustration. It's okay. And it was kind of but it was kind of a cool thing for me because by the end of the conversation, I mean, we ended up having a nice, friendly conversation. It all kind of worked out. But, after I validated her feelings and said that it was okay, I understood I'd be frustrated if I was her too. And then I explained why I didn't do what she'd asked me to do because I didn't know how. And she's like, oh, I understand, because you didn't want this to happen or that to happen. I was like, yes. So then it was kind of like, then I sort of felt validated too, that I didn't like mess up or screw up. And so, but it was, to me, it was after she left that I was kind of like, oh, I had a totally different reaction. I didn't totally beat myself up because someone was like yelling at me. I didn't completely shut down like I normally do. I was actually able to listen to what she was saying, and I was able to validate what she was saying. I mean, at first I was just kind of sarcastic under my breath, not under my breath, but in my head, thinking sarcastically. I'm like, okay, or mostly just kind of turning the tables. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's you, not me, but okay, whatever, Those were the, not nice thoughts in my head that I did not express. And I chose not to continue the argument. I was like, I don't want to get in an argument. I'm just not going to do it. And I didn't say any of that out loud. I didn't say any of that to this person. I just thought it in my head and just went on with what I was doing. And then it worked out. And it was just kind of, I guess for me, it was nice to see, because I know I've been struggling and feeling like I'm still like emotionally stuck and not moving forward. And I think I just really needed a moment to be grateful, to see progress, to see a change, because even though I don't always see the progress I'm making, and I sometimes feel like uh, I just keep trying and I'm not getting anywhere. A lot of times I just feel like I keep doing all of these things and it's not making a difference. It's not working. And it's so frustrating. And I know it's good. I know it helps improve my attitude. I know that sort of a thing, but I'm not getting anywhere. And so tonight was just kind of like, but I am getting somewhere. I am making progress. I didn't respond the way that I used to. I didn't shut down. My brain didn't turn itself off. I wasn't like crying. I wasn't like complaining to myself. I was like, I'm okay. I did what I was supposed to do. I'm not going to get in an argument. This is fine. Whatever. They can think whatever they want. It's got nothing to do with me. I'm okay. And then I don't know if it was like my attitude, if it was just because I didn't argue, but then this person apologized, explained why she was upset, and I got to validate her because I would be upset if I was in her shoes and that happened to me. And then she was willing to listen to my side and understand where I was coming from. And then we were able to have a nice, friendly conversation. So it was just different for me to have that interaction with like a complete stranger, not like someone that I know, not like family or someone else, and to not like just shut down or not feel like I'm some horrible person and beat myself up. So I was just kind of like, yay, this feels really awesome to me, to just be grateful that God is showing me that I'm making changes, that I am responding differently, that all the things that I've been doing are working, that I am building them up, but it's just these tiny little chunks at a time, and so it doesn't necessarily feel like it. And if nothing else, I was thinking, you know what, at least I'm not adding to my pile of stuff that I need to go through. I'm not adding to my old emotions. I'm not adding to stuff to be resentful for or to feel guilty about or any of those other things. I wasn't adding to my problems. I was just letting it go, which I was really grateful for too. And then, of course, to have the ideas pop into my head after that, like later, quite a bit later after that, I was getting ready to go home anyway. And then to have ideas for names and for my books. And I'm like, okay, it's not really the one I thought I was going to work on tonight. But as I said before, I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to work on the one that I get inspired to work on, that pops into my head, because that's the one that I'm willing to do. So that's the one I'm going to work on. I'm not going to try to force myself to work on something else, because then it just makes it that much harder. And I don't want my writing to become something I dread. I want it to become something that I continue to enjoy doing. And so I just was grateful to be excited about my writing tonight and excited for all these ideas. So tonight was just a very good night for me, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm just wishing that I was done earlier because I still need to write in my journal and I still need to go to bed and I need to get up in the morning. So makes for a fun day for me when I stay up really late. But it's okay. And I know that God is taking care of me, and I am grateful for that. And I am grateful that I can still make these videos and do something for my writing and to find things to be grateful for as well. So that's all I have. If you like, you can like, subscribe, you can share with someone else if you think they'll enjoy it too. And I hope you have a great day full of gratitude and maybe some writing.